My parents didn't come to my wedding. Not because they couldn't, because they chose not to. I stood at the end of the aisle, the music already playing, guests shifting in their seats as quiet whispers began to spread. My eyes kept drifting to the front row, 2 empty chairs, perfectly aligned, decorated just like the others. Reserved. For them. "They'll be here," I whispered under my breath, more to myself than anyone else. My husband squeezed my hand gently. "We can wait another minute." But a minute had already passed. Then another. And another. Each second stretched longer than it should have, pulling something tight inside my chest. "They're not coming," I said finally. The words didn't break me the way I expected. They just settled. Heavy, final. So the music continued, and I walked down the aisle without them. I smiled for photos without them. I said my vows, standing strong, steady, promising a future, without them. And somewhere between the applause and the celebration, something inside me quietly let go. Later that night, after the guests had gone and the lights dimmed, my phone buzzed. A message from my mother. "We're sorry we couldn't make it. Your sister really needed us today." I stared at it, reading it twice, then a third time. Needed them? For what? Another message followed. A photo. My sister stood in front of an oversized cake, balloons floating behind her. A crowd gathered around as she smiled like she was the center of the world. "Happy birthday." I let out a small laugh. Not because it was funny, but because it finally made sense. They didn't miss my wedding. They skipped it. For her birthday party, and just like that, something inside me stopped waiting. The silence that followed lasted months. No calls, no visits, just distance. At first, it felt unnatural, like something was missing. Like I should reach out, say something, fix something. But then I realized I had already done my part, and for once I let them be the ones who didn't show up. So I focused on my life, on what was in front of me, on building something that didn't rely on people, who only appeared when it was convenient. It wasn't easy. There were long nights, moments of doubt, times when I almost picked up the phone just to hear a familiar voice. But I didn't. Because every time I thought about it, I remembered those empty chairs. And I kept going. 6 months later, I sent out invitations. Simple. Direct. No explanations. Just a date, a time, and a location. Even they received one. I didn't expect them to come. But they did. The venue was already alive when they arrived. Music, conversation, movement. Over 200 people filled the space. Dressed sharply, engaged, present. I saw them pause at the entrance, scanning the room like they were trying to understand where they had stepped into. This wasn't small. This wasn't quiet. This was something significant. I walked toward them slowly. "You came," I said. My mother nodded, her eyes still moving around the room. "What is all this?" "A celebration," I replied. "For what?" My father asked, his tone cautious. I held his gaze. "For everything that happened after you didn't show up?" They exchanged a glance, confusion settling in. So I let them see it. The stage at the front, the large screen behind it, the branding they didn't recognize, the people they didn't know, and then the screen lit up. Images began to play, clips of late nights, small beginnings, conversations in cramped spaces, work, progress, growth, the story they had never witnessed. "You missed something important that day?" I said quietly. My mother stepped closer. "We said we were sorry." "I'm not talking about the wedding," I interrupted. Silence. "I'm talking about the moment you chose not to be there," I said. My father's expression hardened slightly. "That's not fair." "It is," I replied. "But I'm not here to argue about it." That caught him off guard. "Then why are we here?" he asked. I gestured around us. "This is what happened next." The screen shifted to numbers, growth charts, milestones, recognition. My company, built from nothing, without them. "You built this?" my mother asked, her voice quieter now. I nodded. "With people who showed up," I said. The words landed heavier than anything else. My father looked around again, this time not dismissive, but calculating, understanding. "How many people are here?" he asked. "Over 200, I said. "Investors, partners, people who believed in something early." He didn't respond, because he understood what that meant. Value, success, everything he respected, just not built by him. I didn't think... my mother started. I know, I said. Because they hadn't. They didn't think missing one day would mean missing everything that came after. I took a small step back, creating space. Not out of anger, but clarity. You didn't come when it mattered, I said. And I stopped needing you to. The room moved around us, full of life, energy, possibility. Everything I had built. Everything they weren't part of. And for the first time, I saw it in their eyes. Not what they had lost, but what they had chosen not to be part of. I gave them a small nod. Not forgiveness. Not closure. Just acknowledgement. Then I turned and walked back into the crowd. Into the life I had created. And this time, I didn't wait for them to follow.